subscribe button.
What's up, everyone? How you doing? On our plate for this week, we talk about the latest Switch 2 rumors and our big ones for Nintendo's next console. Something goes glitchy and the latest tease for the next PlayStation, for the next Pokemon Presents. And then we get into will Baldur's Gate 3 be the sleeper hit RPG of the year? And then we'll talk about some Call of Duty Season 5 stuff because you know you like that. You know we like that too. All this and more on Season 7, Episode 30 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I got all the bullets in the mag and I'm ready to go because it's havoc time. I am joined by
Sean MF Ross.
What does EMF stand for?
Sun's out, guns out.
Oh, look at them guns!
Hey, editor, put some muscles in there for me.
If I was any more light skinned, I'd call the cops on you. Know what I mean? Because no black man should have them guns out like that.
Okay. Well, I was. No, I'm still worried. You know you were going.
Hey, everyone, it's okay. That's a black joke. Only black people can call the cops on black people. That's a thing. Well, it shouldn't be a thing.
I wish everybody else had heard about that rule.
No, they take it seriously. All right. This is Press X Start Gamers Digest. This thing right here is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday at 3-ish p.m. What up, YouTube? How you doing? You doing good? We're doing good too. Don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. You can do us a solid and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or the podcast services you are tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our conversation by going to pressx2start.com/Discord. There, you can be like the others who have joined our conversations, and we all laugh together. It's a good time. You should do it. If you're bored, you got nothing to do, you need some people to talk to about video games. Hey, sometimes we talk about bestiality in a weird way. I mean, it's not always a thing that we talk about. It's because of Baldur's Gate.
It's
too late. It's live. All right, now you know who we are and what this thing is. We can jump into this week in the gaming news. I almost said this week in gaming, but that's something else. All right, number one. Nintendo Switch 2 display and storage specs rumor services alongside August announcements claim. This comes from notebookcheck.net news. And this is specifically from Daniel R. Deakin? We'll go with that. I hope that's right. Sorry, sir, if it's not, or ma'am. All right, so there's new reports about the Nintendo Switch 2 have surfaced with the well-known Nate the Hate YouTube channel.
Well-known to
offering
who?
quite? Huh? Well, yeah, I've never heard of this person either. Actually, I should. I'll look into them. See what that's about. All right. Offering quite a few details via Reddit. While there are some mentions of things like a 3D Mario game being launched alongside the next gen Switch, another suggestion of a late 2024 launch. So what they're saying is that the launch title will be the 3D Mario that we were all kind of hoping that we would see at least some kind of tease to in the last Nintendo Direct. And then they're also saying this is going to launch in the fall of, late 2024. So fall of 2024. This is actually, good.
I was gonna say this looks like just a lot of speculation. I'm looking at the channel. He has like 20,000 subscribers and
okay.
100.
So
there's a lot of speculation. I mean, we can speculate ourselves what we think it will, what it'll be.
Yeah. So I've actually heard about that fall 2024 launch date, and I think because I think
that's just a good reasonable guess. It's been 7 years at this point.
Yeah, and like apparently, okay. So let me finish this, and then we can actually talk about it. So, and the subject of a LCD screen being present brought up again. So yeah, so it's instead of Nintendo forking over the money for OLED screen, they're gonna most likely use an LCD screen because of cost. You know, Nintendo's good about cost savings. And then the last big thing about this is that this hybrid console. So hopefully the Switch stays a hybrid console and it doesn't do anything crazy. It will come with an 8-inch display and up to 512 gigabytes of storage. So the current Switch is a 6.2-inch display. Yeah, 6.2-inch display. The OLED model is a 7-inch display, and then the current Switch storage is a 32 gig. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay. Then 64 storage for the OLED model. So yeah, that's all that for the Switch 2 rumors. Okay. So yes, as you were saying, Sean, continue.
Um, this is just logical speculation. I
Yep.
don't see it having 512 of internal flash. Maybe like 128. Why would they spend the money when they could just let you get your own SD cards again or whatever
By
to,
yourself.
build up your own storage to whatever. They just have to not limit it to, X amount of terabytes or whatever.
Yeah.
LCD might not even be them being cheap. It's more so battery life versus screen type savings, because that's the reason why they didn't go with OLED for the Steam Deck. Like,
Hmm.
all of this is just a lot of logical speculation, but
Yeah. So
I'm sure we'll see
I
it at some point soon.
I agree with you in terms of uh the reasonings for going with the LCD screen versus the OLED screen. And I think battery is a good thing to pin as like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because I think the OLED model doesn't have a better battery um,
Yeah.
time than the OG Switch. Um, so another part of the old rumor that I think we actually touched on this at a previous podcast or whatever, but it's supposed to have the same power as the PS4 slash Xbox One. So that generation
Hmm.
is what they're ideally targeting for the power of this Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called. I think that's good. And I think that actually gets into why they might go the 512 gigabyte route. Cause I think that's just going to be like, okay, well, we have this extra power. That means our games are naturally just going to be bigger and they want to have that be the standard. And I think even nowadays, like 512 gigabytes of space isn't that expensive compared
Yeah.
to when the Switch launched 7 years ago. I think that just kind of makes a bit more sense to me, at least. Um, and I also have like we can note on it saying that it's going to be a hybrid console. So the hope is that Nintendo understand what they have with the Switch and don't go crazy and try to make something completely new, because I think everyone just wants a essentially like a Steam Deck version of the Switch, like something that is a bit more powerful but also handheld. What's your thoughts on that?
With with uh with Nintendo and backwards compatibility,
No. Just
I,
it being like a hybrid console. Like, do you still want it to be a hybrid thing, or would you want it to be like a docked console?
that plays into that backwards compatibility though.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
because it would have to support the Switch, original Switch games, because some of them only worked in docked versus docked mode. There's a very select few, but I was gonna say it would be nice if it's another hybrid system, but
Hmm.
with I want to say every generation or every other generation, Nintendo has done something different as far as controllers and what have you. Yes, they have motion controls and whatnot, but
Yeah.
as far as controller interface and gimmicks and stuff, they introduce something or they try to introduce something new every other generation. So they almost get a small pass if some things don't have a backwards compatibility element to it, just because
Right.
unless they're going to be selling controllers, which they love to resell you shit. Um,
So I actually what I'm gonna change this our show notes real quick. I'm just gonna add
just
the Switch sales
do it,
thing
man.
up to the top because I think it's
Just do it.
yeah. All right. So to your thing about them, flipping the script every like I don't know,
Mhm.
every once in a while or every other generation or whatever. I think generally I could see that. Generally, I think that would see that happen. But I think the Switch is a special case where it would make more sense for them to do a follow up like Switch 2 or like a Super Switch or something versus taking a different direction. Like, especially because right now, this comes from Forbes. The Switch has now sold 129 million units worldwide. That is a ridiculous number. And as we were saying, the Switch has been out for 7 years. So this
It
is from
it
Ali
had always made more sense
Carter.
for them to do a thing and then they pivot and do the other thing. Like,
Yeah.
of course, it's
But
easy for them. They're not competing with Sony and Microsoft as far as let me just make them top tier. They're always
they're in their own bracket or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
After the Wii, because technically the GameCube was one of the more powerful consoles versus Xbox and PS2
Yeah, the
in
GameCube,
some processing aspects.
they went from GameCube to Wii, right? There was something in
Yeah,
between.
yeah, and
Okay.
they saw that ain't the wave, so they went a different direction. And
So, but like if you go uh, backwards from the GameCube, you have like Nintendo, then they have the Super Nintendo, then you have the like DS, and they
64,
have the 3DS, and like the
yeah,
all those branches of it. So like there is some evidence of them iterating on their previous console and just doing like a better version of it. But
yeah,
I think looking at Nintendo's past, it is very interesting to think like, okay, are they going to make the boring but like ideal choice of making a Switch 2, or are they going to be like, nah, we're going to have a weird Nintendo decision and we're going to do our own thing, and it's going to be like a Nintendo ball or something that like
yeah.
is all gesture controls or some craziness. So yeah, I'm on the camp of I hope that this Switch 2 is a Switch 2 because I am really
Hmm.
enjoying my time with the Switch, and I just would like it to be a bit more beefier. Like everything else is fine where I'm at least. Um so yeah, yeah. The
The
last thing we can
Xbox was
talk
only
about.
slightly. Just a quick footnote: the original
Mhm.
Xbox was only very slightly more powerful than the GameCube,
360.
but the GameCube was more
Oh,
powerful than
oh.
PS2. But I think with that, it just showed them powers and everything. Let's focus on our franchises because
Yeah.
PS2 was one of the weaker ones of those three and was still kicking in everybody's teeth. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's why they
that's a good
found a
point.
niche. They found a niche to focus on their franchises and doing different things that are more suited to them. But go ahead.
And there's also the whole idea of the Wii, the hidden gem behind the Wii was their whole like blue ocean strategy. And it was like, all right, well, we'll just target a different market and see
Yeah.
how that does. And it did gangbusters for them. But yeah, the last thing I want to just mention, or we can talk about, is like, what do you see the pricing for this? It is very, very early in terms of like, we're still dealing with rumors. But as it is right now, the OLED is $350. The Switch OG is 300, and then the light is 200. Do you
Um,
see
I
a
see
world
between 300,
where, yeah, okay,
300 to
I was gonna say
350.
because like, yeah, I was gonna say, do you see a world where they like drop a $400 console? Because I just don't see that being a possibility.
Why
Because
would
I actually
somebody
think
buy that?
exactly, yeah, like I think they can definitely do the 350 if they have the LCD screen, but 512 gigabytes, and this thing is just a bit more beefier than the Switch in terms of its power. So I think that the 350 actually might fit in a good range, and then the OLED can be like drop down to like
They will
300. And
launch
then
it at 300 to 350 and never get a price cut because the Switch has never gotten a price cut. Um,
true. Well,
the Switch has never
the
gotten a
Switch has
price
never
cut.
gotten a it never got a price cut, yes, but I think well, okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
They
I
came out of
well,
Switch Lite with
they
less
did, they
features
did
that cost
exactly, yeah,
cheaper. The Switch has
yeah,
never gotten a price cut, and they never cut
right.
the price of their games. They will launch
Yeah,
it when they
I'm
launch
just
that. Yeah,
I think what I'm thinking like in my head is like, okay, well, if this new Switch comes out, then the Switch and those models will get a price cut to just adjust.
No, that's
versus having
clearing
like,
inventory.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. The next thing, the next Pokemon Presents event will air next week. For those who is watching this on Sunday, the day that we are making this, yes, it is next week, Tuesday. For anyone else who's watching this, I don't know, this week coming up, yeah, just check it out. You might see this after the Pokemon Presents thing. It doesn't matter. We're talking about this right now. So the Pokemon Presents is going to be 35 minutes long, and it also teased this cool trailer that got everybody wondering what's going on. Sound on it. I am sorry, everybody. Yeah, so as you just saw, it was a weird glitch thing that's happening.
DJ
We
showed
don't
porn.
know exactly, huh?
No, I'm joking.
We don't know exactly what this means. No one has cracked the code yet in terms of if this is like teasing like some kind of Pokemon or some kind of weird event thing that could be happening for Pokemon. So it kind of got everyone buzzing about what's going to happen on Tuesday. I am interested to know what's going to happen on Tuesday. I am interested to see what this Pokemon Presents is going to really amount to, because as is right now, I think Pokemon is a very weird place. It is successful, but I think word of mouth has pretty much killed a lot of buzz for Scarlet and Violet, in terms of its performance on the Switch and how badly that's been. There's been updates with the DLC it's been releasing. I think the next DLC they're going to have is also going to throw a lot of bug fixes in there that's going to help the game more. But I don't think there's ever going to be a time where Scarlet and Violet is like, oh yeah, you should definitely get into it now because it's fixed. I think they're doing the best they can, and the best they can is what they have right now, which is mediocre. Um, so with this Pokemon Presents, Sean,
Hmm?
what do you want to see from this?
Are we just seeing DLC? Is it?
Well, yeah, but they're
I
teasing
wonder.
something, so it's possible that we'll see something that is new or something that is like, oh, this is interesting.
Well, I mean, so I just did a freeze frame on like that little flash of whatever that pops up on the screen. It's just the Pokemon M logo in
It
purple
is
and
the
black.
M, yeah,
I mean,
but this the weird thing of like, why you need to do that? Like, just do a normal Pokemon Present. Like, everyone's gonna show up because it's Pokemon. So it's like for them to be doing something that's like very, very. I don't think there's been something like this before in any of the marketing in terms of like, oh, look at that, it's crazy.
yeah.
So I think it's a possibility that this can be like something pretty like cool.
When does Scarlet and Violet come out?
Um, last year, early last year, no, late last year, because early last year was Pokemon Legends, right?
Couldn't even. I mean, they came out in the same year,
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So I think early last year was Pokemon Legends, and fall
November
last year
2022.
was okay. There we go. Um, so speaking
I
of
don't think
Legends,
it's
there
time for.
are
I don't. I don't think it's time for a new one.
well, there is rumors that there's supposed to be a new Legends. I don't remember where it's supposed to be set, but like I
Mm,
think in the time scale, it would be kind of weird for them to do a new Legends to release this year. I think the focus would
yeah.
be just getting out the Scarlet and Violet DLC, because I feel like that studio has been heads down in the Scarlet and Violet content and whatever bug
I
fixes
got
they've
you.
been able to do. Um, there's also the talks of another Pokemon remake, and I think Black and White is should be up next in terms of clearing out that genre or that
Okay,
those
yeah, they
old
do one
games.
every 3 years. So
Okay,
realistically, we're not supposed to see another one until 2024, 2025. So okay.
okay. So this could be a tease for something next year, possibly.
Yeah, probably like a.
Yeah.
Let me see. We had Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. We had Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So we'll probably see like a black and white remake if that's gonna come or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
think because Black and White was like kind of the was kind of my like reintroduction in back into Pokemon.
Yep.
So I do have a lot of like fonder memories of Black and White, and it'd be cool to see what a remake to that looks like. And if they, I'd like to see them do, because there was a lot of talks about it'd be cool to see Pokemon take the Octopath Traveler to like 2.5D or whatever they call it, that art style, and put it in Pokemon. I think if they do something similar to that, but not make it so, for lack of better words, ugly. I'm not that big of a fan of like how Octopath Traveler looks like. But I think if they take that style and make it their like and merge that into the Pokemon style, I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to see. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, I also got it before we jump to the next thing. I also got to say, um, Pokemon Sleep. That was something that everyone's kind of looking forward to. It released, and I hope we don't
Oh,
see
it did?
anything on that from here because it was horrible. There was microtransactions in it, and people were like, "Why? Why are you doing this?" So yeah, it's just
What
it didn't.
possible microtransactions could you have to go to sleep?
You would think, right?
Yeah,
And
drinking
there's like
verification
weird,
can? Like, what the fuck? What's
yeah.
going on
And
here?
then like there's another thing about it where you have to. Oh, what did they say? You have to. Oh, skipping my mind. Oh, for the app to track, you have to plug it in, but then leave it on your bed. And people are like, "That's the quickest way for your phone to catch you on fire. Like, what are you doing?"
Well,
So
to be fair, they're not the only sleep tracking app that does that. So,
exactly, exactly, exactly. I think it's
other,
one of those things where people are just poking fun and
yeah,
not really understand. Like, well, that's the only way that the app is going to work on your phone. It's not
can
going to work
tell that you're
from.
moving around and doing all types of craziness. So,
Yeah,
yeah, no, yeah.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so it's not really doing all that great, but it's trying its best, I guess. All right. Hold on now. Hold on now. You're going way too quick. You're going way too fast there. I'm over here trying to load up the next video,
I
and
see
it's
people
just
talking about the frame rate is slow and laggy. You're supposed to be sleeping,
for
motherfucker, like, for the sleep app.
oh.
uh, of all the
Yeah,
things
why are
to
you watching
complain
that?
about for an app, you
Oh,
try
that's
to lay still
hilarious.
as possible and just look at it. Just graphics on this are trash. I told you people just complain about graphics on everything. Jesus Christ.
6 out of 10. This thing sucks. Well, you're not
We'll
supposed
never
to be
sleep
awake for
again.
it, guy. Right? Oh my gosh. All right. Number 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has I always say Baldur's Gate 3 already has one of Steam's highest concurrent player counts ever. This comes from Eurogamer.com. Allah. That's an image credit. That's not the actual person. All right. Vicky Blake. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3 is out and it has taken over Steam by storm. I'm reading from the article. We already knew the highly anticipated D&D role player, D&D role player.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3 was doing well on Steam. It had racked up an impressive player peak of more than 472,000 people in the first day on sale. That's awesome. But now one of Steam's most successful games ever. According to Steam DB, as of this morning, Sunday, today, they were recording, Baldur's Gate 3 has broken into Steam's top 10 most played games. It has amassed a staggering 712,281 concurrent players, becoming Steam's ninth biggest game ever in terms of concurrent player counts.
Hmm.
That means Baldur's Gate 3 is now eclipsed the concurrent Steam player peaks for games like Valheim, Goose Goose Duck, Goose Goose Duck, sure, that's Steam, and Respawn's Apex Legends. That's a really big feat. And this is a
Damn, man. They knock
single-ish
Apex
player
Legends
game.
out. Suck.
Yeah. But this is also just Steam. So, you
Why,
know.
why is Goose Goose Duck on the list? What the? What's going on here?
You ain't ever heard of Goose Goose Duck Shot?
It had an all-time peak of 700,000. What was? What's going on, PC gaming? Y'all starve for content? Fuck.
Yo, wait. Okay. I just Okay, we're gonna get the Goose
I,
Goose Duck because
go ahead.
I don't
I'm
know what that
just.
is.
I am
After this Baldur, because I already
bewildered.
got this video loaded up, so we're gonna talk about this video first, or talk about Baldur's Gate first, and then get into Goose Goose Duck because we gotta figure out what Goose Goose Duck is. This is taking I don't even know what it is. Anyways. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is also currently the second most played game of the last 24 hours, behind only Steam's stalwart CS:GO. Oh, that's pretty impressive. So yes, Baldur's Gate 3 has indeed taken the PC world by storm. The console release is, I believe, September 6th, the same day or very, very close to Starfield's release. Um, I will say right now, this is a game that maybe like last year at this time, I would have
Hmm.
not been interested in. I would have been like, whatever, it's cool, it's RPG or whatever. I have been knee deep in like D&D campaign podcast stuff, and I this game has spoken to. I haven't played it yet because it's PC and I don't do PC. This game has spoken to me in a way of
Hmm.
like I have been completely surprised. Like this year, as I said before, this year has truly been my year of gaming,
Yeah.
and I am really really interested in this game once it comes out. So I before I'd mentioned of I was going to get Starfield or figure out how to get an Xbox console and then get Starfield because I'm not gonna play it on PC again. I don't do PC games. Um, but now I think I might just get Baldur's Gate, and then Jordan can have Starfield, and I think Marcus said he's gonna um, mess with it a little bit too. But yeah, this is just oh man, like there was a I don't. It's D&D, guys. If you don't know what D&D is, look it up. I'm not going to spend the time to really explain it because it's a
Dungeons
really really
and
old thing.
Dragons.
Yes. And the big thing about Dungeons and Dragons is the dice roll. Like the dice will affect everything you do in the game. And there's been a video circulating about a squirrel that you encounter in the world, and essentially everything in this world is interactable in terms of if there's a door and the door has a key and you don't have the key, you can just be like, all right, whatever, and sit there and just beat the door down because the door has a health bar. And you can just destroy the door
Hmm.
that way. And like you can interact with the world in like many different ways. So back to this squirrel. So in the video that I saw, the the person encountered the squirrel was trying to talk to the squirrel. The squirrel attacked the person, and then the person had a dice roll, and the dice roll was to determine what the reaction is going to be based off of the person's dexterity, which is part of the person's like skills or whatever. And the person rolled a 20. If you don't know what 20 means in D&D, that is a critical success. That means if you're doing a combat thing, you'll do double damage. That means you have thoroughly passed whatever checks you had to do. And in this game, in this moment, the person kicked the squirrel so hard as a reaction that it one exploded and then the body launched and bounced off of a tree, and it was just like what in the world. So like I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be I think there was a story that came out like maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks or so,
Yeah.
about there's like 150 plus hours of CG cutscenes in the game, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is
Wow.
insane!" And it's just like the reason why there's that much content or that much CG in the game is because like you can do a bunch of different stuff where like they're just kind of accounting for all of that. So it's like, oh, that's really dope. Like that's you don't see that in this era
Games
of
nowadays.
gaming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and apparently there's
exactly.
no microtransactions. I think there's one DLC thing if you got like the deluxe edition, whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no forced online play, so it's getting a lot of good reviews as well because of that.
hmm Speaking of reviews, on right now on OpenCritic it sits at a 93, and on Metacritic it sits at a 94. So before this game launched, the conversation that I was having with everyone was like, all right, well, if anything, Starfield will probably win RPG of the year. And it's like, maybe not. because I don't think Starfield is going to be as deep of an RPG as this game is.
And I haven't heard about
So
this having a lot of bugs yet. I'm not gonna say any.
true. And the reason for that is because this game has been in early access for like 3 years. So
Mm,
they have been polishing the game. Like, I will say that the early access period has been like the first, I guess, 6 hours or so in the first chapter of the game.
yep.
So it's very possible that once more people play the rest of the game, they're like, oh well, the other chapters aren't as like interesting as the first chapter.
Yeah.
So that part is kind of like a wait and see. And then the last like thing that's been kind of uh how you say interesting is when you're doing the character creator in this game, you can do no clothes to see what your character looks like. And much
Mm.
like in Cyberpunk, they will show you the genitalia. And everyone has been like, oh my God, it's a penis. And it's just, yeah, it's one of those things where people just being people and trying to create content on the internet. Much like us. Much like us.
So I did some looking. Goose Goose Duck is basically an Among Us like clone. That's why it has so
Oh,
many, and it's
okay.
free to play. So that's why it has so many players. And
I see. I see.
Apex would be higher, but you don't have to play it through Steam. So
Exactly. Exactly.
it has its own launcher as well as being able to play it through Steam. So whatever.
Oh, it has its own. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
That makes
a
sense.
bunch of a bunch of games on Steam do have separate launchers that you can play it through. So
Mm-hmm.
wiggity
Mm-hmm.
wiggity.
Okay. Okay. What is your What's your feelings on Baldur Gate 3?
I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind them. I used to play would you call it Western RPG, Western fantasy RPG type stuff? Like
Yeah, we'll just say Western RPG. I think
yeah,
they call Baldur Gate like a CRPG, and I'm not sure what the C stands for.
um
Yeah. But,
um yeah, but I mean it looks cool, but I don't want to spend that much time in a game. I'm kind of done with long ass games like that, and not even because I'm a father now. Because I mean I sit on I work from home.
yeah.
And as DJ sees, I'm on my PlayStation pretty much all day now. I done moved my laptop to where my game, my PlayStation is, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't want to spend that much time in one damn game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unless it's
Yeah.
like, you know, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Granted,
Yeah.
if it's not
Like.
a competitive game, like I don't want to play a story-based game. I know you can do multiple things in that, but it's just that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like that's.
But I'm glad they're
I'm
getting money's
totally
worth.
there with you. Yeah, yeah. Like I'm totally there with you in terms of like, man, this is gonna be a long time sink, and it's just like, am I even gonna finish this game? But like, I'm looking at that because I'm looking at that in that like that can be a thing where I could play like I don't know, like 5 hours in a
Yeah.
week or so of that, and then like put it down, play like Spider Man, play like Armor Core, and then come back to it and play like another 5 hours because it's a RPG, it's a turn based RPG.
Yeah.
It is a thing of like, all right, well, I don't necessarily have to remember like I don't have to have like muscle memory for this game. I don't. It's not like a
Yeah.
Twitch
Yeah.
shooter. So it's a thing like I can probably return to it and be fine. Where it's like looking at like Final Fantasy 16, where like I put that down. I am I'm pretty close to beating Zelda right now, and like going back to that is just gonna be like, all right, I gotta because I don't want to play the beginning again. So it's definitely gonna be a thing of just me like playing fighting little monsters to kind of remember how the flow of this game goes, and then try to
Yeah.
beat it and clear it before Armor Core.
Yeah.
That's the hope. That's the hope. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, okay. Well, before we get into EA's promise with the next Battlefield, hey, listener, we hope you are enjoying this content as much as we enjoy having the content for you to enjoy. So do us a favor by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and the notification bell. I nailed it. After you do that, or before you do that, probably after you do that, can you also go to your phone, look into your apps, and then listen to our podcast? Yeah, do that. You can do it at the same time, actually. I'm waiting. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it now. All right, cool. Now that you did that, pause the podcast, leave us a review on the podcast service you're using or Apple Podcasts. Either one works, either one's fine, and we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review. If you want, you can join our Discord by going to pressx2.com/Discord. There, as I said at the start of the show, you can join our conversations, laugh, 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 ha, 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 and probably give your thoughts on bestiality. Again, it was because of Baldur Gate 3. It's not that we normally talk about that stuff. It's just part of Baldur Gate 3. All right, there we go. All right, now that we're done, yes, now that we're done with that, let us jump into number 4. EA, things loading. All right, EA promises next Battlefield will be in reimagination with a connected ecosystem, but fans aren't sure they want that. This comes from Hope Bellingham. Nailed it. All right. Oh, and this is GamesRadar Plus. I'm not sure if I said that or not. So yeah, essentially, EA has said the next Battlefield game will be a reimagination of the series, but fans aren't convinced it's a good thing. As reported during EA's Q1 2024 earnings conference call, the company plans to reinvent Battlefield again with the next game in the series. According to the call transcript, EA CEO Andrew Wilson says that a reimagination of Battlefield is as a truly connected ecosystem was on the way on the topic of the company's upcoming investments. This isn't the first time we've heard this kind of talk from EA. Earlier this year, Wilson also spoke about Battlefield, explaining that the company plans to bring Battlefield back in an entirely new way in the future.
They
While
need not to.
aligned, say what?
I said they need not to. Go ahead.
Oh, which aligns pretty closely with the more recent reimagination claims. All right, there was a lot of talk about reimagination. Okay, so yes, if you played or know Battlefield 2042, that was the last Battlefield that was launched, and it pretty much kind of died on the vine because it didn't really work as intended. There's a lot of bugs and it launched, and then people just kind of left it, and then the game died. I want to almost say like that was kind of a reimagination of Battlefield before, because I think the last game before that was like Battlefield 1 or
5 or
something. I don't know,
Battlefield 1 or whatever.
or 5. I don't know. Their ordering of the games is weird to me. But yeah. So Sean, I'm gonna point this to you as the Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Valorant, if you could play it, first person shooter guy.
Mm-hmm.
What could Battlefield do? Also, you played Battlefield 2 in the past. What could Battlefield, I don't know, I'm gonna call it Battlefield R as reimagination. What could Battlefield R do for you to get you to download the game?
As the one fan said from the subreddit, just make a effing normal Battlefield game. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's simple. Go back to the basics. Stay there. They could have
uh,
refined like 3 to 4 was fine. They just
mm-hmm,
made 3 bigger. And they added
mm-hmm,
I'm not even gonna say they added it. They always had some level of destruction to buildings and what have you, I believe.
yeah,
Um they saw Call of Duty was going back to World War II with Call of Duty WW2. They said, all right, we're gonna go do World War One now. Like they don't. They keep on. I feel like they keep on trying to chase after the Call of Duty crowd, and
yes,
they need not to.
yeah,
Halo wasn't made chasing down Call of Duty crowd, and they found their own niche.
yep,
You know,
yeah,
I don't know. Just make a regular ass game. Stop trying to throw in gimmicks. Build on what works and throw out what didn't instead of trying to instead of trying to throw out literally everything, you know, we
Yep.
didn't need classes with. I don't want to say they had powers, but like I don't know, whatever, man. 2042 is decent. Apparently, I haven't gone back to it yet because I was just so disappointed in it. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the streamers that I follow for DMZ content, his name is Westy. He plays with another guy named Stod and Onic and there's another person I just forgot. Fixate. There you go. Westy, he actually came from Battlefield. So he came from Battlefield. I guess he played 2042, like him and Stod, and they didn't like it. It was a mess. And they jumped from Battlefield to Call of Duty. And it was a thing of like, they say all the time, like, yeah, if Battlefield was fixed, if it worked, we'd play Battlefield because like they love the moment to moment of Battlefield.
We were playing Invasion and Ground War earlier, and I'm like,
This is Battlefield.
this is Battlefield Light. Like they have
Yeah.
tanks and all types of vehicles, but only one person can shoot, and no, it's just you
Hmm.
can't upgrade the vehicles in Call of Duty the same way you can.
Yeah.
Call of Duty just got a specific feel, and if Battlefield wants to look for anything to copy from, they need to look for that same feel, but keep their fundamentals, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Like we don't have an idea of when this next Battlefield game is going to come out, but if it's going to come out in the next like 2 years or something, I
Uh,
think I really think because Battlefield 2042 dropped the ball in their battle royale mode because that was supposed to come out. It got delayed, and by the time it came out, like no one really cared too much about battle royale. And even at this point, like as I said, as I said some months ago when we first talked about DMZ, I said extraction shooters is going to be the
yeah,
next like thing
thing.
that
Yeah,
yeah, that everyone's gonna make. And lo and behold, that's a thing that people are starting to make now. And it's just like Battlefield has the opportunity of jumping into this market,
no, they don't.
hopefully, because I think like with the destructible environments and like just like the general Battlefield thing, because like I played a little bit of Battlefield and it was fine.
You liked it?
I did. I liked it. It's just the movement because Battlefield is different from Call of Duty. Like that movement that is between the two games, it just kind of messed me up a little bit. And like that
You
was my
have to
main
play
thing.
it more, I think,
Exactly. Yeah.
because
You just
I'm
have to
able to
have to get
switch
used to
between
it.
both.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Regardless, I don't see them pivoting. The only studio dev team that I've seen been able to pivot this fast, and that's literally because of the sheer number of people have and the money that they throw at it, is Epic with Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because they were
Absolutely.
making a whole ass different game with Save the World, and then
Yeah.
they saw PUBG and said, hit the fork in the road.
Wait a minute. Right? We could do that. So yeah, like I definitely I agree with you on that in terms of like how quickly Epic has been able to pivot. I just like I would I want Battlefield to come back and do well because I think right now Call of Duty doesn't really have any competition in the same way that Battlefield was a competition. Because like I mean, we jokingly like point at Apex and stuff, but like Apex is a different game. Like Apex
Yeah,
is not doing the same stuff that Call of Duty is doing. Like Valorant's not doing the same stuff that Call of Duty is doing. And it's just like Battlefield was that game that made Infinity War, Treyarch, now Sledgehammer Games have to like step up and be like, okay, well, that was really cool that the thing that Battlefield did. Let's try to do this thing and like actually like put effort into it instead of now where it's just like, all right, we're good. Like, it's Call of Duty. People are gonna play Call of Duty. Like people are not gonna stop
yeah.
playing Call of Duty unless like something happens to the client or whatever. So yeah. Um yeah, that's that. That's that. Last up, but not least up. Target confirms PS5 console will drop to just $450 this weekend, guys.
Mm.
So, Oh wait, this weekend. When was this dated? August 4th. Oh my god, it happened. It's happening right
Oh, it's
now.
already
If
dropped.
you are listening to this right now, you are in a blessed spot where you can go get yourself a PS5 if you don't have one, or if you have one, you can just get another one if you have $450 just laying around. Do it. Do it before this all gets bought up by some AI scam people. I don't know. So before the podcast, Sean and I was looking into this, and it's also confirmed on PlayStation Direct Store. So PS5 is now $450. We don't know if this is a thing
Well,
that will.
well, to be clear,
Hmm?
if you find it digital, it is also 350. So there's that.
Yes, if you find the digital, then you could also buy a lottery ticket because your luck is on fire right now. So you might be able to cash out on that as well. Um, so yeah, PS5 now is 450. I think this is interesting. There is a couple of ways that you can look at this. I think I'm looking at this in the way of okay, they dropped the price now. It's August. I think probably when does Spider-Man come out?
October 10th or something like
October?
that.
Okay. I think possibly late October, possibly early November, we can see the PS5 Slim drop, and that might
October
drop at
20th.
500, and that will replace essentially the PlayStation.
I don't see the Slim being 500 when the regular is 450. Why would I buy a Slim just because it's smaller at that point? It would have to be 450.
True. You think that'd be four?
It would have to be 450
True.
as well, or 400, and then you can buy like the disk drive add-on if they do something like that. I don't see why would you buy a Slim?
If it was more than the base PS5. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, people used to joke that it was ugly, but I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't look that bad.
You know what? You have a really good point actually. The question is then like I don't know why they would drop the price now. Unless this is like just for the weekend for some weird
Well, no,
reason.
because on the direct side it says until the end of the month, and I mean, at that point they may be releasing, or announcing something, but this says
Interesting.
valid until 8/20. And I don't see why summer gaming sale. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange.
So
Huh.
yeah,
So, I mean, the other thing we have to consider is that, you know, Xbox's biggest game of the year slash of its entire generation is coming in early September. And for this deal to end essentially on the heels of that release, that
yeah.
that could also be a thing. But yeah, this is it's weird. It's weird that they dropped this. Is there anything that I'm missing though? Uh,
All
yeah,
the
I
bundles got a
don't
little
know.
bit of money off too for those who care.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So everything has been kind of reduced price wise for this whole deal. It's interesting. It's interesting. We'll see what happens though. Okay, that's it for the gaming news. We've done it. We've done it. Um, before we wrap this bad boy up, we have been playing a little bit of Call of Duty Season 5, and we have some impressions. Sean, what's your impressions of Call of Duty Season 5 so far?
Um, I did not play it the day it came out because I was like, "F Call of Duty." I'm gonna finish my Apex Legends Battle Pass because the new Apex Legends season is starting next week.
Oh, okay.
I think the 10th, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they look like they got some meaningful changes. They got disguises now. They have a scuba mask that lets you stay in the water for 3 minutes now.
Hmm.
What are the other things they got? They got that silly ass M wrap. Well, I mean, we announced some of the changes already. Um,
Yeah. Have you been in DMZ much since?
I have somewhat, but I run into some a-holes. I run into some nice people. One dude told me
Yeah.
he didn't give a F that I was solo. He was taking all my stuff.
Hmm.
Another group of 6 man was like, "Oh, he's doing a hostage rescue mission. Let him up. Let him do his mission." I'm like, "Oh, all right. That's wow. Thank you. Caught me off
Wait
guard."
a minute. Are you a black man?
um, you know, I run into some decent people,
Yeah.
and been making
Okay.
comedy, but I haven't seen too much of the new changes just yet. They have a new set of faction missions.
Coney.
I think it's called Shadow Company. I'm curious to see, like, this is supposed to be like, I'm not gonna call it a persistent world, but you have persistent progress. Uh,
Hmm.
so they reset all our stuff last season. Are they gonna do like a progress wipe every 2 to 3 seasons or something, like, or because once you have stuff unlocked, what more could they possibly
What is there
add
to
that's
do?
not going to be groundbreaking, yeah, or game breaking?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, armor plates typically cost 250 when you're playing. I done killed a certain boss so many times, my plates are now 100. Uh, I think my personal elf X fills are normally supposed to be like 50,000 or something. I think mine are like 28,000 just because I go around doing certain tasks and what
Hmm.
have you. So
So I think to answer your question about the reset,
yeah,
I think the answer to that is that we get a reveal event for Modern Warfare 3 August 17th. And I think
yeah,
that is going to answer when like how what's going to happen to Warzone DMZ. Like there so I as I said earlier in this cast, I watched a couple of streamers who do DMZ stuff, and there is a new ship in
uh,
Almazra, like in the water, and there's a bunch of like I guess nuclear missiles on the ship,
is there?
and there's a mission where you go over there and you get some notes for the nuclear stuff or whatever, and you do some
Okay.
stuff and you complete the mission. You just kind of carry on. I think it's very possible that they can do a like, oh, we're gonna change the Al Mazrah map and just like nuke stuff or something, and like that could be like a hard reset to everything, and that changes the map. Because I think they did that for Warzone, right? When they went from Modern Warfare to Black Ops, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I think they have too many maps now.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
they need
yeah,
to do a cycling of maps or something, like every 12 hours or something. I don't know, but I don't know the player numbers, how they're able to sustain 4.5, you know, four and a
right,
half
yeah.
maps across people, because there are times where it takes a while to get into a match now, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. So like I'm interested to see what they do with it because like I've mentioned this before. Like there's rumors that there's supposed to be a zombie event in October
That'd be
that
cool.
and there's also supposed to be uh a nighttime
Yeah.
mode or nighttime version of Al Mazrah that we're gonna jump into or something. So there's all these things that's gonna happen in the future. But like I'm really looking at that Modern Warfare 3 reveal event to see like, okay, like what's actually gonna happen to this? Because I agree with you. I feel like DMZ is in a interesting place where it's like, all right, well, you do that loop a couple of times and it's just like, all right, well, what am I really extracting out of this that's worth value? Like, what am I really doing here other than just like finding my like stories in this mode? And like
Mm.
sometimes that's all you really need. But I still enjoy playing DMZ with you guys. Like I am I do you when you jump in, do you jump in solo or do you just do squad fill?
I always do solo.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think
bad
I'm gonna
man.
like start doing squad fill and kind of see how that goes. I don't remember. I think I was either playing with you or Sabian the last time I did DMZ, and like
Mhm.
we ended up being like a team of six. Was that with you or was that Sabian?
Probably with Savion.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like it's one of those things where it's like, man, I really hate the 6 man teams, but it's
Yeah.
like the issue is that once you get into a team that big, doing your missions becomes kind of just like, all right, well, this
I
ain't.
know. I still just walk off and do my own thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I think for us, like, because we were the 6 man team was like kind of together, and it was just kind of like, all right, well, I guess we'll just be the toxicity that we all hate so much. Let's get a hunt contract and go kill some people. And it's just like it sucks that you just kind of devolve into that.
I
But
left.
it's
They wanted.
oh, okay.
I was actually in a 6 man, and they said, "Hey, let's go do a hunt." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm good. I'm hopping in the. I'm hopping."
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I
So yeah,
yeah.
like I would love to see them take a new approach with the whole 6 man team and like what you do if you become a 6 man team, like what's available to you. I think
You
if
should
there was
only be
more to
able to
do,
hunt a squad as big or bigger than you.
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Like, I think it'd be cool if you become a 6 man team,
Hmm.
you get access to like a stronger version of the stronghold. And it's like, oh, okay, well, this is only available to 6 man teams or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this is new on the map. So like that gives them something to go do that's not like bully everybody else on the map. And it's just like I think
Mm.
that's the issue. Like, especially when you think of Call of Duty, you think of just like finding other people to shoot and kill. And it's like that's a thing. And it's like you're gonna carry that mentality into DMZ, even though that's not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing.
And apparently, you get marked. I don't know if how often this is a thing, but you get marked if you start killing people.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't get marked if you're defending yourself from a team, because that happened to me the other day.
Okay. So yeah, that whole marking thing is pretty much just a wide thing, like a wide catch-all for just any player who kills a X number of players will get
Yeah.
marked. And the way that works is you will start getting um a hunt squad on you, but the
Hmm.
hunt squad isn't actual players, it's AI that's like disguised as players. So they're like two-plated AI that like comes after you and they will like try to take you down or whatever. But it's
No, I think you get marked on the map for other players, from what I've
no,
seen on the
well,
server.
you get marked in the I don't know from what I've seen, I haven't seen like them be like, "Oh, there's a 6 man team over there." Like I've
Hmm.
seen from the perspective of the people I guess doing the killing and what happens to them, and like
Yeah.
they just get like swarmed by like stronger versions of the AI people or whatever. But yeah, I think I just like I haven't jumped into solo DMZ in a while, and it's just because I don't feel like having to deal with like the possibility of like being confronted with a 6 man team. It's like, all right, well, I don't have a stealth vest because you guys has made like unlocking this stuff kind of difficult, and there goes the gear that I brought in, and it's just like, okay, well,
Sometimes it's a little bit easier to maneuver if you're by yourself, and that's why I do it. You don't have to worry about guiding your team along with you,
that's
especially
true
if you
too.
got a stealth vest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the stealth vest is like super key to like survival now, versus like it being the comms or whatever. So yeah. Oh, before we jump or before we end this, I do want to talk about the game mode Havoc, which is essentially a normal like team deathmatch or like kill confirm or whatever. But the difference here, the added seasoning to this is they add different abilities every X number of minutes or whatever into the game. And like you have a total of I think six, like five or six. So
Yeah.
you can be playing a match and then the first thing you get is gravity or no gravity, which essentially like your jumps are much bigger.
Moon jumps.
Say what? Moon
Moon
jumps. Yeah.
jumps.
Yeah. And then the next thing you can get is like a persistent advanced UAV that just stays on the map so everyone can see each other. And then you can get a auto feed, which is just unlimited ammo. Your gun just constantly reloads itself. Or ammo
After a
itself.
kill, it reloads itself.
There
They
you
got after kills, they'll throw like a what's the
Like
scanning?
martyrdom.
Martyrdom.
Yes, that word.
And the scanning tactical grenade. I don't remember the damn name of it.
Oh, the snapshot?
There you go.
That's what happened. Okay. So that happened to me. And I was like, why? Who is throwing all these snapshots? Like, what is going on? I had no idea it came from the person. Like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. And then they have the one that I hate the most, which is third person view, which switches your camera to third person, and it makes it incredibly difficult to shoot, kill, or just breathe in that game when it's in third person, especially if you have a sniper rifle, because the snapping between your scope and like your
Is
person
more of a
is
delay.
not instant. Yeah, so I just died so many times. I think there's other stuff I just forgot. But yeah, overall, I've had a good time in that mode when the perks are reasonable.
Yeah.
But again, when they do third person mode, it's just like, all right, well, this is a wash for me because I don't like this one. But there's supposed to be newer stuff that's going to be doled out in the future. Overall, I think season 5 has been pretty good. I don't dislike it, if that helps. It's not like, oh my god, this is the best season of Call of Duty ever. It's just, oh, this is good. Like there hasn't been anything that's been like, oh, this is not good. So there's that. There's that. All right. I think we're done. I think we have wrapped this puppy up and gonna take it out to the park. I don't know. Anyways, this has been another episode of Press Start Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and we enjoy making it. Don't forget, you can like this video, subscribe to the channel, and the notification bell. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or podcast service you're currently using. You can join our Discord by going to pressx2star.com/Discord. You can enjoy your day, have a lovely, lovely time playing games. I don't know. You can go to the park. You can walk that same dog that I just wrapped up. What can they do, Sean? Tell them, what can they do?
I don't know. Just love us. That's all we ask for.
Hey. Just love us. Appreciate you. Appreciate us. Like the video. Just like the video. That's all you gotta do. All right. See ya. Play games. And bye.
So apparently Baldur's Gate 3 is the #1